Hi everyone, today I wanted to talk about an intake manifold I got from Southwest Performance Parts. This is for the LS platform. This one's square ports, LS3, L99, that type of thing. So if you see, the reason it's called square port, for those of you that don't know, the intake ports on the heads are a square, or in this case actually kind of a rectangle. The other style is the LS1, LS2. That's going to have a cathedral port, so it's kind of got a peak at the top, and they don't interchange. There are some adapters out there, but you're better off just buying the correct one for your motor. So if you got the LS1, LS2 style, definitely get the cathedral port, not the square port. Got nice bosses for our fuel injectors. It's all TIG welded. Everything looks nice and smooth, nothing protruding or sticking out. It's got a nice finish on it. It's also nice and light. So if you're looking at thinking about weight, it's not a bad way to go. In addition to the injector ports, obviously the mounting flanges, we do have some vacuum ports on the bottom. So if you're running a brake booster, anything vacuum actuated, you can run a vacuum gauge, or if you're running a boost gauge, we've got it there. And then on the back, we also have a port for our map sensor. Accepts the stock GM map sensor right into the port, so your wire harness and everything will plug in. You won't throw any error codes that way. On the front, you can see we've got a nice big throttle body opening that's going to accept the 102mm throttle body that came with it. This one is a what's called drive-by-wire, so we have a electrical plug and a motor that's going to operate that throttle valve in there. Looks like a really nice piece. Can't wait to get out of the motor and see how she runs. Nice and smooth, very well polished. The blade seems to fit the opening really well. Looking forward to getting that on there. Back to the injectors I talked about briefly. This is a stock injector for my LS3. It's a pretty small one. Aside from putting some new O-rings on it, which is always recommended, those O-rings get pretty tough. Those will drop right in. And then the fuel rails that also come with the manifold will drop right over the top there. And then we have our brackets that'll hold that all in place. It does come with the bolts and gaskets for the throttle body on the front. Also comes with fuel fittings for your fuel rails, so you can run your high pressure fuel line up to your fuel rails, and you'll have your crossover line, which will run from one side to the other to get that fuel to all 8 injectors. Last thing we do have some hose barbs for the vacuum lines, brackets to affix the fuel rails on, so they'll still attach that down so they can't come loose, with all the hardware necessary to mount all those pieces. And then of course, important part is gaskets and bolts. So each intake runner on the LS has its own gasket, and then we'll have a bolt that holds that down. LS intake manifold from Southwest Performance Parts.